Hey BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not new to my channel, I'm still really super happy that you're here. Please leave a comment in the comments section. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can leave an emoji or give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you're here. Today, I'm here to talk about the completely insane TBR I have planned for March. Now, Shelly Swearingen did her March TBR recently, and it was kind of like a theoretical, like if I had 1,000,000 hours, like what would I read? And so that's a little bit kind of what my TBR is. I'm going to be participating in 4 events in March, which definitely is a record for me. I think the most I've ever done is 2 in a month. I have since heard about 3 other great events that are taking place in March, but unfortunately I just can't participate in them, which is such a bummer. I really wish that we could find a way to spread some of these things out, because participating in booktube events for me is such a joy. I get to meet new booktubers. We have conversations about books that we normally, like, I'm not always talking about, you know, or you're not always talking about, that kind of thing. So this is a theoretical TBR for March, and we'll see. We'll see, I guess, what happens in the end. But some of you gave me some really great advice about not pressuring myself. Like, it's supposed to be fun, right? Like, that's the point of these events. It's supposed to be fun. And so if at some point I'm just like, I have to give up everything except for one event, then that's just going to be the way that it is. But I love these 4 events are all books that I'm really interested in. I'm really excited to read. There's areas that I really want to learn more about, and yeah, so here we go. We'll get into things. We'll start off with March of the Mammoths. This is hosted by my husband, Jason, at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, as well as 2 other great hosts, but I will link to Jason down below. This is why we own a plush mammoth, because of March of the Mammoths. And just to give you an idea of how important March of the Mammoths is in our household, yesterday, Jason was talking about the mammoth that he might read in 2023. It's like, we haven't even started March in 2022, and he's already on to the next year and what he's gonna read. So this probably won't come as a surprise to many of you, but for my mammoth, I am going to be reading Dombey and Son by Charles Dickens. I'm going to be reading this with Joe Smith, and this is our 3rd year in a row of reading a Dickens novel for March of the Mammoths. So this is one of Dickens' books that I don't really know anything about. Last year we read Our Mutual Friend, which I had a tiny inkling about, and then 2 years ago, when the world turned upside down, Joe and I were reading David Copperfield, which again, I was a little bit more familiar with, like, what the story was about, had a little idea, but this one is just, wow, I'm really going into it blind. But anyway, it is almost exactly 800 pages, if it's a little over, but yeah, so I've got it marked off, our 200 approximately 200 pages each week. And so ideally, I would love to finish this by the end of March. But the thing about March of the Mammoths is that the point is to at least attempt to read some of the large books on your shelves that have been, like, haunting you maybe a little bit, been hanging over you. And so, yeah, like, you don't have to finish your mammoth in March. little secret, Jason has never finished his Mammoth in March. I think he can do it this year. But anyway, so I'm super excited to be reading another big Charles Dickens book with Joe Smith. Now, if I had 1,000,000 hours, right? Okay, Shelly's theory here. If I had tons of time, the other big book, it's not quite a mammoth, but the other big book I would read is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon, which won the Pulitzer Prize. And I am trying to reread. I've read this book, but I would like to reread it. And it's part of my Pulitzer Prize reread project. And I pledged to you guys that I would read it before the next Pulitzer was announced. But the next Pulitzer is going to be announced in April, it looks like. So probably won't have this one done in time. Like I said, it's about 700 pages, so it's not a mammoth. But if I had 1,000,000 hours, I would read this one as well. The next one is the Irishreadathon, which is got a couple hosts. Again, multiple prompts, read along, lots of things going on with the Irishreadathon. But one of the hosts is Aoife I'm so sorry. There's so many vowels in a name. It just throws me off. I apologize deeply. She's at Words of Clover, and I was looking through their prompts, and one of them is about that 2022 is the 100th anniversary of the creation of the Republic of Ireland. And so the challenge is to either read a book that was set, that is set in 1920s Ireland, or read a book that was written in 1920s Ireland. So pulled off this little novel, The Story of Lucy Galt by William Trevor. I don't know how you can see his name there. This was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. The first line on the back is, "The Galt family leads a life of privilege in early 1920s Ireland." So I was pretty stunned to have a book that met that prompt. So this is on my, this is what I plan to read for the Irishreadathon. Now, if I had 100 hours, I currently have a Graham Norton book that is coming to me at some point. I don't know if it's going to make it here in March or not, but that's okay. So I really love Graham Norton. He is a television host in England, but he's Irish, and in his off-season time, he writes books. So he's written 2 novels, and I think the one that I'm getting is Holding. So if I had 1,000,000 hours, I would read that as well, because I love Graham Norton. I really am excited about that book. Okay, next event is Middle Grade March. This is hosted, again, multiple hosts. I'm going to link to Krista from Books and Jams, and I think this was initially her brainchild. Apologize if I'm wrong about that. One of their prompts is a book about an orphan, which is a pretty common theme in middle grade books. So I have The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Speare and Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott O'Dell. These both won the Newbery, and I read them growing up, and I remember liking them, but I just, I kind of feel like maybe I could read them once more and then let them go. I also have Julie of the Wolves in my bookcase, and I don't need to keep it. So if there's somebody out there who is amassing Newbery books and you want those 3, let me know in the comment section down below. And once I've read these 2, I would be happy to send them to you, because like I said, I just can't imagine holding on to them. So, another book, and one of the other prompts is, I think, to read a book that's older than you, which all of these books meet that criteria. So this is Constance, A Story of Early Plymouth by Patricia Clapp. I'm sure I think this was a library discard. If I'm not, yeah, it's lovely. probably. But it's just about to fall apart. I mean, let's be real. So, I mean, it probably has only one read in it left anyway. So if I have a million hours, I will get to I want to get to this one this year anyway, because like I said, it's in such bad condition that I'm just not really interested. All right, and finally, fourth event I'm participating in finally is March Mystery Madness, which has been going on for 7 years. I haven't been on BookTube that long, but I have never participated in this event, which is such a bummer because I really do enjoy mysteries. Again, there's lots of hosts. I'm going to link to Jen from Remembered Reads. Now, initially, I was just going to get one book for this, but I had something happen yesterday, so now things have changed. But from the library, I got the 5th book in the Amory Ames series by Ashley Weaver. This is an act of Villainy. I haven't read the flaps or anything like that because I have really enjoyed this series. This is, like I said, the 5th book. I think there's 2 more, and then I think she started actually. Ashley Weaver has started another series. So if you've read any of those books, I'd be really curious to hear what you think of that. But Amory Ames Mysteries, you know, it says it's an Amory Ames mystery, but you know what? Like, her husband Milo always plays a key part in solving the crime, and yeah. They're just Murder at the Brightwell is the first book in the series, and if you are looking for a mystery, I would really recommend it. The banter and oh gosh, yeah, like Amory and her husband Milo have a rocky relationship at the beginning of the series, and just their back and forth dialogue is fantastic. It's really fun. So yeah. So this is, and so again, the theme for March Mystery Madness is 2 by 2, and you can take that a lot of ways. But I feel like I have two detectives, people working closely together to solve the crime. Yesterday I took some children's books that I had mainly I think it was my mother, looked like my mother's handwriting. She'd written my name on the cover of the book, which I don't really like the idea of giving those books away to anyone. So I took them to a little free library that's just within walking distance of our house. I have not been to any free libraries for quite a long time, and I was very surprised at what was in this little free library. Nothing really of interest to me, except in the corner was an Agatha Christie book. So, of course, I snatched this up. Now, this is Why Didn't They Ask Evans? Apparently was also published as The Boomerang Clue. I looked up this morning on Goodreads. I have read 13 books by Agatha Christie. No cursing there. I'm not stressed out about that number. But the thing about Agatha Christie, I don't actually own any of her books. I tend to just pass them on to other people, or check them out from the library, because the library has a ton of multiple copies of most of Agatha Christie books. So the other thing is I never remember what happens, with the exception of a couple really, really famous Agatha Christie books. And I've never even heard of this one before. So it's even got I don't know if he's the detective or he's just the person who's going to solve the crime, Bobby Jones, and he has an unlikely partner in detection, Lady Frances Derwent. So I have to say, when I first joined BookTube, I did not see Agatha Christie talked about a lot, and I cannot believe how much maybe it's who I'm subscribed to. Maybe I don't know what is exactly going on, but there is a lot of love for Agatha Christie on BookTube right now, or recently, you know. So that's been a real change since I joined BookTube. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to reading this, and again, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pass this on. And if I don't get to it, in March, I'll get to it at some point this year. But anyway, so if you like a beat up used Agatha Christie book, it's not in too bad shape. It's definitely been read, but there's a little notch on the corner there. But yeah, so anyway, if you'd like it, I'd be happy to send it to you. So just let me know. But I'm gonna read it first, whenever that may be. All right, so this is my dream TBR that's also a little bit insane for March. I would love to hear what events you are participating in March, what books you're going to be reading. Are you participating in anything? Yeah, if you're a content creator and you've created a video and I have just missed it, let me know. So yeah, I love hearing about this, and we'll just see how how things unravel. But I'm really excited. I hope I can read at least one book for all 4 events. So that would be at least my ideal goal. But again, it's supposed to be fun. You know, it's supposed to be fun. And so if suddenly I find myself super stressed out, I mean, I'm definitely not going to get stressed out about The Witch of Blackbird Pond or something like that. I look forward to your comments in the comment section. And again, really love hearing from you. It is not a bother or an inconvenience for me to respond to comments. I really love hearing from you in the comment section. So please feel free. It's a safe space to tell me what you're up to next month. So, all right, BookTube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.